it should be, especially if you look at the prize money. I mean, this year, I think this year somebody told me that this year's Rise of Phoenix, there's going to be no card pulled out. So because Andrew already has 2 cards in a truck, but this is probably one of the second biggest paydays for women's bodybuilding. And then you have people like what Sarah Viggers was doing. You know, she had a Texas Pro where she put up $15,000. That was probably the biggest prize for, you know, shows because, you know, you ladies, like I said, it does cost more. You compete. And I believe that, you know, like one thing is people telling me like, oh, no one really comes see the women. You know, I say, but if I'm buying a ticket and I come see that person, you know, I'm spending my money. If I buy a ticket, I'm spending money. It doesn't matter who I'm coming to see it. I'm spending my money because the first time I bought a ticket, I'm going to see all the divisions. So, you know, if it's one thing, if I get out doing women's bodybuilding, I still pay to come see the show.
Yeah.
Got me to think on that one, huh?
Well, I mean, you also have to look at it in the same way that any sport is expensive. I guarantee you that a football player is actually spending about as much, an NFL football player is spending about as much in food. Think about that. I mean, you're putting in like at least 3,000, 5,000 calories a day. So even if you're sponsored, you're still putting out like. So I think as an athlete, in any way you look at it, you always have to look at the fact that you are going to be putting out money until you reach the very, very top of, you know, the rungs where you actually have gotten the Olympia type money. So you are able to get back into this sport. The other reason why I love Linda, you know, she made a lot of money off the sport, and so she's turned right back around and is supporting the sport. And also, I really, really think that we also have to look towards what makes us happy as humans, right? So that might mean you love to go skydiving, right? So yes, it's truly expensive, but it's something that makes your heart soar. And every time you do it, you get stronger for the rest of life and you get happier and get a few more years on your life, right? Just by having that experience. So, yeah, it's expensive, but so is a trip to Disneyland. You know what I mean? It's all more about the experience and what that does for you.
Well, I've never been to Disneyland. I've been to Disney World twice, but I've never been to Disneyland.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It was me and my nieces and my nephews, my sisters and my brother. You know, I don't know if I want to go now. I don't know. I got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I got to be sitting one of those right around things. Say, nah, I'm not gonna. Yeah. Say that was nice. I remember one time I was in Disney where I was hungry. Said, God, hungry. So there was this place. I had Chinese food in China. So. So, you know, but yeah, I just feel like there should be, you know, more compensation for you competitors because, you know, like I said, you do put a lot of money time. I know some ladies say they don't do it for the money, they do this for the sport in front of it. But at the same time, I think like any other sport, like one thing is with football players, they can eat a lot because they can afford to get paid to eat a lot. I know stories where they already get $500 just to sign a contract, and you may not even play yet. $500,000 for signing a contract, and you haven't played yet. You know, and just put your name down on something, you get a whole boatload of money. But you know, bodybuilding, I remember back in the day when I was coming up, you used to watch it on television. You know, like I used to remember you could watch it on NBC and you know, ESPN, and you know, but now you know it's on pay-per-view, or you can catch it on. Sometimes somebody will post it on YouTube. You know, and I do content like I said, I just finished doing a video for the show in Daytona, and I already posted. I gotta, you know, and then I gotta do this video for the show here because you know what, no one talks about your shows as often. You know, I feel like for a good while, I didn't really, you know, take your division seriously because I call Physique watered down women's bodybuilding. But you know, if you look at my catalog, the good amount of women I have talked to in my interviews, I think I have quite a little bit more women in physique that do women's bodybuilding. And I'm even, like I said, I want to stretch myself out a little more. You know, I've reached out to women. I've talked to women in figure, a couple ladies in fitness. Some ladies in bikini, but it's hard to get the ones in the IFB pro level. But the ones in the amateurs, they're a little bit more talk to. I'm hoping I can maybe get welded someday, but it's just hard. We got here, my man Aaron Betts coming. Who says, "I do, George. You said it. Yeah, yeah, you do too. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Beth. He agrees that there should be more compensation for you ladies. So you're doing Arizona. How you feeling? What's your feeling? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in just focus mode. kind
And you're
of
like,
like
like on stage butterflies, and when you just like because what was your first feeling when you first time you competed? What was that first feeling you had when you were competing?
I can't say I really do the butterfly thing. I really can't. I love what I do so much that by the time I'm backstage or even walking backstage, I've already got this sort of energy going on where it's just like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. This is like so that's more my approach than the oh my gosh, I'm getting on stage, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I also believe it's a you versus you sport. So it just being around ladies this amazing and this powerful, and the men too, is just like, I can't believe I'm a part of this world. This is so cool. And that's how I walk in, and that's what I do.
Well, it's good to have good feelings about yourself, and be confident. I don't know if I could go on stage for a bunch of people, and just perform, but it's good that you have that good feeling about yourself because it's tough. It's not easy. And if everybody could do it, like Ronnie Coleman says, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one wants to lift that heavy ass weight. So, so as you know, this is going to be probably, I think, maybe one of the few shows left for Olympic qualification for because I think they took and they pushed Olympia up to November. And it was December the last few years. They brought it back to Vegas last year. It was a mess, what I was told. I mean, it was people
Well,
getting sick.
you have
But
this one, and then you have the Legion Fest, which that one I'll be competing at as well.
oh, the Legion's Fest. So yeah, because that's one
Yeah,
because
so that one's in Reno.
yeah, because I think I know some. Because I didn't really talk about too many of the shows because before I was more of a bodybuilding fan, but I am talking about the shows that do if they do have women's physique. Because like I said, you ladies are pretty much like women's body. It's like physique is more like the gateway division for those women who want to go up, but those who don't want to play a comfortable stay in. This is how I break it down. Each division, as we said again, like this, it is a starter division for depending on the athlete. You come in bikini. And then after a while, we start developing and start building the muscle. You say, you know what? I can't say bikini anymore. So let me go to figure or go to wellness. Then, these say, you know what? I'm evolving a little more. So I'm going to go up to physique and then, keep going. I think sports really is changing day by day. And I'm learning a lot. From my conversation with you ladies, I'm, stuff that some people don't even know or don't understand. I mean, it's just what you go through every day as competitors. Like I say, you have we talked to your husband, and is he still there?
No, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. Well, he's a nice guy. Great guy. Cause folks, that's good that he supports you. What was you like when you told or when you started your family, your other family, like your mother, your father, your brothers, sisters? What was their feeling when you decided to become a bodybuilder?
My father was completely elated. He was like, you finally found your niche." Where I've kind of always been, the bravado, and in terms of what you were talking about in terms of like bodybuilding and stuff. I don't know how many of you out there are gamers, but the way that I look at it is, women bodybuilders, those are the bosses. Those are like when you get to the boss level and you have to fight the boss. And then you have the women warriors, that's women's physique. Then you have the queens, that would be figure. Then you have the like so I literally see it
And
like
between the
that.
princesses, the Prince Peach.
Where it's like level up, level up, level up, level up. Um, but going back to the whole family thing, yeah, my dad was super related, and that's actually basically who I'm really close to. My kids love it; they totally love it. My cousins also think it's pretty cool. There's a lot of you know, check out my buff cousin stuff, you know. um, but yeah, it's definitely nice to have family support, and I believe that if we have family, and some of us do, some of us don't, but that's also part of bodybuilding. Family is created along the path of it, where you make these amazing connections. But as long as we have that sort of support behind us, we only have strength. You know what I mean? So those
Well,
are
that's
the
good.
people that really elevate our spirits.
Yeah, that's good when you have support of family and friends. And I know sometimes I learned that sometimes, like you say your dad, he was happy for you. But sometimes some dads you say, like, I don't want my girl to be my son, or some others say, I don't want you to, sweetheart, I don't want you to get so masculine. You may not find a man. But and also I have had stories where some ladies told me, like, they lost friendships because they decided to get into sport, take it seriously. I know, because you can't, like, because you're training, you're prepping, you can't go work out like you want to. You got to work out. You can't go to the club like somebody, hey, we're going to the bar, you want to go drink? Say, nah, I got to go to bed at 10 o'clock and wake up at 5 o'clock and do my cardio, or
Well,
do
yeah, I
I get,
definitely hear
yeah,
that one.
I got leg day to do. I mean, I know somebody told me that sometimes they can go to a family function, they have to bring their own food because especially since the summer, you're out in around in Cali. It's almost summer all year for
Uh,
y'all, you know, and you can't,
that
you have to bring a big tote, and everybody's eating, baked
Let
beans
me
and
stop you there for a second. I have a funny story about that. So it was my daughter's birthday party, and it was literally hilarious because I was also part of the PTA at that time and also working at the school. So it was like everybody was there, and it was this huge, huge party. They break out her cake, right? We go through this singing, and everyone's handing out the cake, and I'm like, celery stick. And it was like the only thing I can do to celebrate this birthday in terms of eating the cake, because it's kind of like this is how we say yes, your wish is going to come true. It's like, okay, let me just take this candle and I'm keeping it forever. Back away, back away, back away from cake.
you
But
should
yeah,
take it back, hit the candle out.
you know what I'm saying?
Like thing is about this. Thing is about That's the one thing about people understand, that food is part of the process, but depending on
Or
what you eat.
the other thing we do, which is you chew it, then immediately spit it out.
Yeah, you better not chew
Quickly
cake.
rinse with water.
Cake, you cannot chew that thing and spit it out. You're like, once you starts melting your mouth, it's like, one spit it out. I'm spitting out spit. We got here. This is my man KL the Wanderer. Shout out to KL. He does content too. He says, "That's Pam Grier. I love you in Foxy Brown." He's being an ass, but yeah, you kind of got that Pam Grier, Foxy
That's a
Brown.
compliment. That woman's hot.
Yeah. Even though I think she's in her 70s now, I think she's still looking pretty
Yeah, it
good.
still looks woo.
Yeah, I think there's some women, like this one thing I found out, like, why these ladies, you get into the bodybuilding lifestyle. I did an interview with last weekend with Tiana Flex. She's from South Africa. She's 40 years old, and she looks like she might be in her 20s. And I mean, it's just the lifestyle. I mean, I'm talking to ladies who are like, "Oh, I'm 60, George." So you 60? I thought you were 40. And and it's just unbelievable how it's a people say it's a choice when you make this, when you decide to, what, I want to do better. I'm getting sport, because even though there's some good aspects to it, it's also the dark side to it. Like how people talk about, especially like, you're on social media as much as I am, maybe a little more, how you get comments from guys in DMs, like talking about, hey, you're trying to be a man. Yeah, who's the dude? Yeah. I mean, it's sad how it's mostly from people who hadn't busted a grape and don't even have 1 ounce of muscle. It'd be guys who have boobs like I do talking about you got muscles. It's sad that people don't understand that this is you. You're living your life. You don't like it. Here's the best way to say it. Shut the fuck up.
I totally agree. I totally agree. But I also have to say that we have to look at the other aspect of that, where people nowadays are so mentally mute that in order to get someone's attention, in order to actually be able to speak to a bodybuilder through IG or the DMs or whatever, what they literally do is the same thing that 12-year-olds do. I like her. Let me try to provoke. And this is just, and as negative as some of it may sound, as a derogatory or sexually connotated. You just have to look at the fact that some of these people, it's not necessarily bullying, it's just a desperate attempt at trying to make this person answer you by any means necessary. So I always look at life in the full spectrum that it could be. So, yes, there's, of course, the dark side, but, the dark side of the moon also has great music, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think I still like. I know some ladies tell me like they get things from guys, but then that same guy say something on their page to turn around 20 minutes later and says, "I like you. I didn't want everybody to know that I like you."
Yeah, see,
That's the funny thing about this. When I get, if I make comments about like if I see some pictures of like, "Hey, wow, she looks great. She looks buff." You're like, "Man, are you gay?" Here's the thing is, guys, this is a lovely woman right here. She has an amazing body. She has a good personality. If I was into dudes, I'd be into dudes. But I like females. I like women. It may not be the age. I'm still down with the ladies. You know, uh, I
well,
remember.
and we can't. We also have to thank freaking Marvel and DC and all these wonderful superhero things that come out,
Yeah,
and especially the armed forces and law enforcement right now, where they're just really rocking out with some really awesome females that are super powerful and super like. I mean, it's
yeah, because
amazing women.
yeah, I have collecting comic books. I got a couple of Wonder Women's, but I have most of the Batman, Superman's, X-Men, stuff like that. But yeah, I think like there's always that debate when people talk about when Gail the Dot got cast as Wonder Woman. Say, yeah, I don't see it as a woman. But the fact is, they have to get the Wonder Woman that society's more comfortable with. Linda Carter, she was a great Wonder Woman. Grew up watching her. Like I said, I
Yeah.
grew up watching her. She still you can still catch her on certain networks, and you can catch the Wonder Woman show. She even had an appearance in the last Wonder Woman movie where she played a character who fought some.
Yeah.
Yeah. They say
Yeah.
that scene when she stops the pole. And it can't be. She's in her 70s too, and still like she can probably run the woman, yeah. Too bad Steve Trevor. Too bad. Shout out to Lyle Wagner. He was a great Steve Trevor. You know, as I said again, like this, there's a dark side to sport, is and to do the sport is not expensive. I know some ladies don't talk about this, but many ladies is that have to do ways to make money. If you don't have a lucrative job, a lot of them have to do certain sites. There's OnlyFans, there's Her Biceps, there's this and that. Those things exist for a purpose, especially because you ladies, your fan base is like this. You break it down this, you look at the other divisions, you look at the men's division overall, especially men's bodybuilding, they have a bigger fan base because in the truth of it, they're the money makers. They're the reason people come to the shows. You look at bikini because it's the standard of what people think of what a woman should be: long legs, huge boobs. Figure. No, sorry, figure. I mean, bikini and wellness are the TNA divisions. They're the divisions that people pay attention to because it's what people see. They like to see women with nice knockers and a fat ass. But as a fan of you ladies, I'm fairly because I'm like as a kid, yes, I was like in my pubescent ages, and I find it very, very, very appealing, very attractive, and I'm like I said, I'm from the South, and there women are women a little more full figure. I didn't meet my first female bodybuilder until I went to an event about a year ago, and it was great to meet her. She's a cool friend of mine, Miss Marianne Wachowski. We met, we did an interview. Also, Amanda Schnooks, who's now IFBB Pro. Congratulations, Amanda, and also other ladies who compete in the sport. And then to go to Savannah, and I met Don Saliv and Sheena Oleg and Annie Rivicchio and Alina Popa and these ladies who I've followed and seen, and I respect. Many times I have done things that I don't want to repeat, it's, but it's just we follow you. We're family ladies, and you understand that the fact is that those things exist for a purpose. And and it's a way that y'all get yourself out there. It's also a way to try to make a living for yourself. But it's not for everybody. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We got here from this is from Aaron here. It takes a tremendous amount of discipline, dedication, and commitment, and those that are negative don't see or appreciate the drive that it takes. It's a balance. Mighty Heidi took it on a lock. Yeah, you have a fan here. Shout out to Aaron. Thank you. And I think, if people appreciate you ladies as who you are, like I said, you're a wife, a mother, an athlete, a businesswoman, a trainer, a coach, you're a friend, and see that. Does everybody, all people go see is like this chick with some lot of muscles, but she still is. She got her hair done. She got a nice dress on. She's very lovely. Yes, you see the biceps, and I know you guys will get excited. We see the biceps, but I like I said this. You gotta, yeah, she's doing a little pose. So I hope Kale, you happy, got a little pose, you know. But people got to see that you're still a woman, and you are an athlete, and you do this because you enjoy doing this. You know, I would say like this: there should be a little bit more respect and more recognition for you ladies in this sport. I got a tongue tied. Yeah, but but like I said, I don't want to hold too much longer, folks, because you know what, she took some time here to sit and talk with me, and I've been trying to get her on for a long time. Finally got her in here, and she's getting ready for tomorrow. As you know, she's competing at the Arizona Pro, which is part of the Rise in Phoenix. It's the only few shows that's strictly for the ladies. There used to be a show back in the day was the Jantana, and which is women's bodybuilding, and I think there should be more shows for you ladies, but we all know that you have to stay, because if we all said again, the men's division, and this is the truth of it, are the bottom bitches. They're the ones who bring in the money for everybody else. But shows like what Jake Wood doing, I have to do this. Jake, yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. I mean, and Jake Wood, hey man, Jake, just give me what you got in your pocket. Just give me what you got. I don't need all you, just what you got in your pocket, Jake. I'll be happy. That probably paid my rent for the rest of the year. But yeah, as a fan, I respect you ladies. And there's another guy. This other guy. He comes out. He comes out right. He has to say something. Hello, Heidi. I think you are such a lovely lady, and you complete me. You excite me. Yes, but there's an old saying: "What doesn't make you stranger, make you stronger." And I understand you, ladies. I respect your commitment, passion. But you know what? You freaks out there, be respectful. Respect her. You don't have no problems in there. I'm sorry, he had to come out. So if I'm gonna ask you this, as an athlete and in this sport, as long as you have been, what would you like to see change in your mindset in the sport of bodybuilding?
Wow.
Got you the hard way.
Actually, community involvement. I would love to see us be able to get back into the community and to really just put bodybuilding back into the community, where we're including others and not separating ourselves. So that would be one of them. So bringing strength back into the community by combining bodybuilders and everyday people. So um, if you look back into the day, like older school bodybuilding, you'll actually see things where like Arnold Schwarzenegger was working hand in hand with schools, prisons, etc., etc. I'd love to see us get back into the world. That being said, I would love to see the sport more publicized. Um, the other thing would be more shows, more sponsorships. There's a lot of stuff. Um, but I mean, otherwise, I really think that we're doing a good job right now. I think that we're coming from a space, especially with COVID, where we are really in a rebuilding. We're really trying to revamp everything. And I think with just a little bit of patience and time, a lot of things will actually um, be addressed and from there fixed or, at least paid attention to. So I think we need to give stuff time in terms of like what we wish to see change, especially in terms of what I'm talking about. That's more of it's going to take some time to do that. Actually get us back onto like regular TV, actually get us back into the community, actually have us standing as the empowering heroes that we could be by sharing what we're doing with our lives. Bodybuilding is again mind, heart, and soul and community. So just getting back to the heart of it. That's what I'd like to see happen.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Like one thing, like something like like someone like Andrea Shaw or Chelsea Dion do some, some of the news networks like come on, like a Good Morning America or remember back then, Montel Williams used to have bodybuilders come on there, and and
Yeah.
Jimmy Jones and those talk shows, and do pressers and stuff like that. Really, yeah, get more attention, because educate the people what bodybuilding is about. People just think bodybuilding is just a bunch of big people taking steroids and lifting that, but there's more steroid use in mainstream sports. You remember that long ago, people talk Barry Bonds, but you still have to hit the ball. All steroids. This is people need to say steroids is just one of the small factors of the sport. It's one of the smallest factors. Whatever somebody use, but it doesn't make you a better athlete. You don't hit the ball farther. You don't run faster. It does help your recovery and other things. And I think people need to understand that.
Yeah, well, in terms of all that, like that's not something that I will actually speak on a public platform about because I don't condone the use of any public person without a doctor having
Mm-hmm.
so I actually just stay away from that subject completely,
Mm-hmm.
because once you speak of it, you're actually invoking it in others. But what I would do with that is I would just take the ball you threw at me, hit it right back, and say, at the same token, we also have to look at how many lives have been saved through the art of bodybuilding, right? How many people have said, okay, you know what? Screw cancer. I'm going to fight a little bit harder. You know what? I've had spinal scoliosis my entire life and haven't been able to walk. And watching these people become actual professional athletes is like, I think that's the part that we should be paying more attention to, the heart of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but probably people always like to see the dark side of anything, but then you gotta educate yourself about the truth, what things are, and if you educate, understand, you shouldn't have any problems. But poor people always going to see something they understand. They're always going to make their assumptions of it, and this is also like say like this: if people are out there who wants to sponsor a lady like you and say, hey, we got a company, we got a business, we want to sponsor you, but just be genuine when you do it. Like say like instead of like saying like, "Hey Heidi, you kind of cute." Yeah, yeah. No, guys, don't do that. Don't do it. Stop saying, Mrs. Osborne, I would love to sponsor you. If you need anything from me, let me know. I'm happy to help you out. Just be genuinely interested. Because these things help out these athletes and these competitors out there. This is a tough sport. If you can understand that, I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices to make time. I know there's times you want to spend more time with your kids and with your family, but you got to train, you got to do this. You got to. You just this is a sport that people need to really understand.